makes me feel things.
People are taking second mortgages on their houses at the moment to try and fill up their tanks.
You can see straight from the beginning, mate, the bloke doesn't cook at home. Let's just get that out on the table to start with. What can I say? We made dreams come true that day.
Hold my beer, and then then you end up on four drive 24/7 fails. Well, guys, it's that time of the week. I'm just about to crack a cold beer in the shed. It can only mean one thing: beer's in the shed, and listen to that. I'll tell you what, it's always a good sound in my shed. Speaking of my shed, it is a bit of a mess at the moment, but you will notice a new hoist. Sooty Mark II in the background. Sooty, the original, the big OG behind me here, and even better than that, Graham is on the line. Graham?
Mate, I heard you crack your beer. Oh, can you hear that?
That sounded like it went down your front, mate. How you going over there?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm very good. Living the dream over here in the West.
Oh, that's good, mate. Doesn't look like your first beer of the day. That's good to see.
Mate, you got to keep hydrated on hot days like today, and the only way to do it, as far as I'm concerned, is to put in what looks like comes out. Don't take any shortcuts, mate.
Exactly. I like your way of thinking, mate. We've got a really big Beers in the Shed episode to get through today, and something that's both close to our hearts, mate. We were lucky enough to help a little legend out with a few things for his four-wheel drive, which we'll get into that, won't we, very soon? Yeah,
mate. It was a huge day, and I think everyone's going to be absolutely stoked with what's gone down. Let's not get into that just now, though, mate, because if it's okay with you, I wouldn't mind discussing something that's, I think, on everyone's lips at the moment, especially if you own a four-wheel drive, and that's the price of fuel at the moment, mate. How is it in Queensland? I haven't sort of been over this year yet.
Mate, people are taking second mortgages on their houses at the moment to try and fill up their tanks. It is crazy. Yep. It's the talk of the town right now, and it's probably very topical we talk about fuel prices because, you know, it's actually worrying me a little bit. It's probably worrying a lot of four-wheel drivers out there at the moment because fuel is so darn expensive. I've seen it at $2.20, $2.30 around here. How is it over your side of the woods, mate?
Mate, it's actually not quite that bad, but for the first time that I can remember in a very, very long time, today I saw diesel overtake 95. So we're up around diesel is around the $2.08, and I think you can get 95 for just under that. But if you're not being careful, and we'll get into this in a second, if you're not being careful and shopping around, you can pay $2.20, $2.25 for petrol at the moment. So
same over here. Yeah. They do call it WA, mate. Wait a while, country. I'm sure the fuel prices will start to hike very soon over there, mate.
That's all right. We'll keep waiting.
It does raise a whole stack of questions for us four-wheel drivers. Obviously, diesel or petrol, fuel in any type is what we need to get out and live our dreams, mate. To get out to that campsite, to get out, to a big touring trip, take your family away. And when the fuel prices start to hike, it starts to raise a lot of questions. People are probably starting to think they might be changing the way they go four-wheel driving. They might be thinking of doing shorter trips or whatnot.
Yep.
It's got me thinking, how do you save fuel?
Yeah, I think that's a big one, mate. How do you save fuel or how do you use fuel more wisely? Look, I've got a bunch of ideas. I know you do too, but let's go through a couple that we're both sort of doing at the moment. But I'd really, really like to put this out to everyone out there at home because I bet you're all just sort of thinking at the moment, how do I save fuel? And then let's put it together, mate. Let's make a little list and we'll share it with everyone out there. Maybe the top 5 tips that we get.
I think that's a great idea, mate. And we might even try and chuck a couple of prizes for the 5 best, I guess, fuel-saving tips in the comments. So, let us know in the comments below and we'll report on those as well and get that out there. So everyone has a few ideas when it comes to fuel saving. That'd be a great one, mate.
What are you doing, mate? You've got a couple of thirsty rigs there. What are you sort of doing at the moment?
My best fuel-saving tip is to take the engine out of your vehicle like I've done on both of these ones behind me. And you just be honest with you, Sooty's used no fuel since I've taken that engine out. And the one on the hoist as well, same deal. And it means I'm in the shed every single day working on these cars. So not using any fuel over here.
Great tip, mate. Like the Flintstones, you just got to put your feet through the bottom and run.
Yeah, that's right. What about yourself, mate? What are you doing over there?
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost, when prices did start to go through the roof, I was a bit of a shocker. I would just rock up to any petrol station as I was driving to wherever I needed to go. I wouldn't even look at the price and I'd just fill up. But now what I've done is I've grabbed an app on my phone that then lists the cheapest fuel in the area. Not Grinder, no. That gives you a totally different type of fuel price, mate. I'll tell you what. You don't. This lists all the petrol prices in the area and you can specify the area to be quite wide or quite narrow. And you'd be shocked at the range of fuel. For example, I checked today, I checked U98 because that's what I'm running in the 62. And cheapest I could get U98 was $2.08, which is pretty good. But the most expensive was $2.40. Big difference there, man.
Wow.
Big difference.
That's a huge...
Yeah.
See, and and especially as four-wheel drivers, need to think of this more than just about anyone else, because we're usually filling up tanks, long-range tanks, all sorts of things where we can be putting over 100 litres of diesel or petrol into our vehicle at one time.
It's a big expenditure.
20% or so, or 10% saving can be a massive difference.
It's huge, man. Yeah, so I highly recommend do a bit of a search depending on whether you're Android or iOS, and grab yourself one of the more popular apps and just consult that before you fill up, and I guarantee you that'll save you $50 straight off the bat.
It's got me wondering as well, mate, like you've just got yourself a V8 petrol. I've got a V8 diesel that I drive nearly every day. It got me thinking the other day, and look, I don't mean anything more by this, but like, did I make the right decision in buying the vehicle I've got? Should I have got a dual cab ute, something like a 4-cylinder one that uses a lot less fuel? It's got me thinking down that road. I'm not going to change the vehicle. I love the big 200 as well. And it just means I have to be a little smarter on how I use my fuel.
No, I know exactly what you mean, man, because I was looking at the 62 the other day and I thought to myself, gee whiz, that looks a lot like the D-Max on steroids. Yet the D-Max would use well under half the fuel that I'd use in the 62. Does the 62 do anything better? Look, in my humble opinion, it does not. Yeah. It makes a lot more noise. It looks a lot tougher, but does it do anything better? No, man, it doesn't. So it's a tough call, isn't it? And what do you think, mate, with regards to the sort of the future of four-wheel driving within Australia? Because these fuel prices, I hate to say it, folks, they're not going to come down drastically anytime soon. Do you think this is going to have a radical shift on the way in which we do four-wheel driving? I
think over the next 12 months, you're going to see a lot of people, people are going to be doing big trips still, but I think people are going to be doing a lot of closer local trips and maybe not using as much fuel, still getting away, but exploring their backyard a little bit more before they potentially explore further afield. Another good tip as well, mate. Go and buy yourself a Nissan, and you'll never hear me say that sort of garbage talk again. But if you buy a Nissan, it'll spend half its time in the garage broken down, so you'll save so much in fuel. It's not funny.
This is from the bloke who, look behind you, bro. Look behind you. This is from the bloke. Mine are all running. I'd love to hear from the folks at home, Shauno. I think we've come up with a couple of ideas there. These are the ways we're sort of doing it. But I'd really like to hear from the folks at home, because I reckon there'll be a heap of ideas out there that people haven't even thought about sharing with people. But
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You can promise I'm going to be going through those comments, and I suggest you guys go through the comments too, because hopefully there's going to be some really good fuel saving advice down in those comments. So, think outside the box too, even in the little tiny bits of advice that you think, oh, that's not really necessary. Put it down there, because it's going to help somebody out, i.e. me and Graham as well. So put it down there, and we'll try and get a few prizes together for some of the best ones, mate, and we'll report back as well.
Shauno, mate, we've got a heck of a lot to get through this episode, mate. But first and foremost, let's just go through a little bit. We've got a golden ticket winner, mate. Come on a trip with us.
We do. To come on a trip with us. Sit
around the campfire.
Who would want to do that? Apparently a lot of people. We've got a lot of entries, mate. So there's going to be one lucky winner. Can't wait to get into that one.
Even bigger than that, how's this? We're advertising for presenters. We want to give someone a job. That's crazy.
It's really a life-changing experience. Well, it could be if you
100%
are lucky enough. And we're looking for a few as well. So that's exciting times. Imagine that. Imagine the job description. Right, get paid, travel around Australia, do what you love, and become a household name in a year. Well, that's incredible, isn't it?
Pretty crazy. Now, we've been inundated with applications, and we've looked at every single one of them. And I'm pretty excited to say that in the 20s to 30s couples, we've actually shortlisted a couple. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It is cool, but it's not over yet, folks. We still need more entries. We're not 100% sure. That's what I'm getting at. So if you think you've got to just make a video, have a crack.
Yeah, right. Well, let's chuck a link down there as well so people can apply and know all the details. My suggestion is take a bit of time when you're making a video. That's the only way, I suppose, we can sort of judge what's going on with 2 minutes we get to know you via your own little video. Put a bit of effort into that and have a real crack. You've got nothing to lose.
Mate, we've also got some great deals coming up. We've got prizes for rigs and fails, the whole lot. But with no further ado, mate, can we get stuck into the main topic for this week, mate? We got word of a young mate of ours, Levi is his name. When he was a young tacker, 7 years of age, he fought a bit of a battle and he won it with leukemia. He popped out the other end, victorious. Now, Levi is just like you and I, mate. He loves his fishing. He's probably a way better fisherman than you, let's be fair. Loves his four-wheel driving, loves his camping, all that kind of stuff. And he was done. He was ready to go on with life. And then literally one day he just said to his parents, this is how it happened, man. One day he said to his parents, I feel like I've got cancer. And they went, what? What are you talking about? They took him off to the hospital. They did the tests. And the poor bugger has had a resurgence of the leukemia come back again. So just prior to that news, he and his dad were looking for a four-wheel drive to do up together. What a thing to do with your old man, build up a four-wheel drive together. Now, Levi wanted, of all things, an old-school four-wheel drive. You know, none of these fancy buttons that you push and things. He wanted an old-school four-wheel drive, and the one he really had his heart set on, and for good reason, was a TJ Wrangler, mate. But did you think they could find a TJ Wrangler within their budget? They couldn't. They looked everywhere, all around the state of WA. They couldn't find one anywhere. Very, very hard to find. So they sort of gave up on that, man, and they decided they would look elsewhere at other four-wheel drives. I think he came to his senses and was going to look for a GU Patrol. I'm not too sure about that. But they found one. They found a GU, and they were going to look for it. As they were driving there, it just so happened that Levi had a look on car sales, and what should pop up? A TJ Wrangler in his price range. So they literally found a unicorn. More on that in a minute, mate. But they found this TJ. Now, it did need a little bit of work, but that was perfect. But, like I say, the news popped up, Levi's diagnosis came through, and they just had to put it on hold for a second. Now, we got word of the fact that this four-wheel drive was sitting in his shed on hold. Yeah. Nah, we just said, no way, we're not taking that. That's not good enough. We're not going with that. Right. So we put a call out to our mates in the industry, and the rest is history, mate. But I reckon, can we just have a quick look at how the car came in? So, mate, when they picked up this TJ, like I said, it did need a little bit of work doing to it. I don't think it had a matching tyre on it. I think the tyres were a little bit different.
All good forward drive start like that, mind you.
100%. The bar work was, pretty how you going, to be fair. Had no winch, had no rear bar on it. It really was looking a bit how you going. The internals were a bit, They had thought that it might have had a bit of a head problem as well, so that was going to need to be looked at. Didn't have a stereo. Now, Levi's a big music fan. Needed a stereo. Nothing inside it. No comms, of course. There was no... So, as you can see, as you're sort of putting together in your mind, this was the perfect doer-upperer. Levi would look at that vehicle every single day and just say to himself, I'll get to you. We'll fix you up. Don't you worry about that. But we didn't need to, because we stepped in, mate.
We stepped in, and I can't think of anybody more deserving, mate, and I'm so glad we did. You know, we hear stories like this every now and again, mate, and, you know, it humbles people like you and me, that the fact that we can... get our mates in the industry together and make a little bit of magic happen, and that's exactly what you did, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, look, it was a huge day, mate. But before, I reckon everyone at home too is probably gagging to have a look at this thing. Can we have a quick look at the reveal of the car? Because I tell you what, this was for me. This was a moment. Today is going to be a good day. I am so excited. We're just pulling into Adventure 4x4 here. There it is. Check that out. Man, that is a different vehicle. Well, this has come up an absolute treat, folks. We're going to meet young Levi out a bit, but for now, can I just give you a bit of a look around at what we've done on this vehicle to get it up to scratch? So up the front, of course, every Jeep needs bar work. This is actually a second-hand bar, but the boys at Adventure 4x4 stripped it down, got all the rust off it, re-powder coated, put it back on again, run the winch in here because, well, it's a Jeep. He might need a winch. I'm just joking. Of course, you're going to have some spotlights. We gave the boys at Hardcore a call. A couple of spotlights on the front. Of course, up the back, we've had to put a brand new rear bar in here with a bunch of recovery and tow points. Every Jeep needs that. Come around here. All right, inside the belly of the beast. Now, it had a stereo unit in it, but the head was absolutely shocking. So we put a new Axis head unit in here so that we've got a bit of country and western anywhere we go. Dash cam up here from Uniden. I use the exact same dash cam in the GU. And of course, you need your comms. Uniden, UHF in here as well. The suspension on the old Jeep was completely clapped out, so the boys from Fulcrum have stepped up and sent through a brand new set of shocks and springs all round. And of course, when Jocko found out what was going on, we couldn't keep him out of it. So he's contributed a few bits and pieces as well.
Hey Levi, Jocko here, mate. Graham hit me up and said you needed a set of tyres for your Jeep build, so I thought I'd send over a set of Mickey Thompsons on some dynamic steelies, mate. I absolutely am loving these tyres. I've pushed them to the limit up and down the East Coast already, and they've stood up to everything I've thrown at them. So I thought they'd be perfect for your absolute weapon of a Jeep. She's looking sick, by the way, and I can't wait to see where you take it. Stoked I could be a part of this, mate, and hope you enjoy the tyres.
Here he is, folks, the man of the moment. Chris, how are you, brother?
Good, Graham. Good to see you, mate.
This fella here, Ben, and all the guys and girls behind are the reason this vehicle looks like it is right now. Of course, all it took was one phone call from me to say, mate, we need to help Levi out. You were straight onto it. Yeah. We made a couple of calls to the industry to get the bits and pieces we need, but it's your hard work, mate, that has made this vehicle what it is today. What you also, I didn't mention before, Had head problems when it first came in?
It did, yes. It was boiling over. Well, not too bad, but we ended up just taking it off, skimming it, putting all new gaskets on there and everything like that. So it's just as reliable as when it was factory.
So she's pretty much turnkey and go?
Yeah, she 100% is, yeah.
Mate, massive thank you, man.
Yeah,
You've absolutely nailed it.
Absolutely happy to help out. You know, just make sure that Levi at the end of the day has got a massive smile on his face. He leaves here happy. He gets out there and he starts enjoying the tracks like all of us.
Mate, so, he's going to froth on it. He's due here in the next 20 minutes or so.
Sweet.
I reckon we go and have a cup of coffee, wait for him. But
absolutely.
Mate, the look on his face when he comes in through there, priceless.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Stellar.
There you go, Shauno. Now, you couldn't be there on the day, mate. Of course, WA decided that borders were, well, let's just say we didn't want you in. That's the whole thing. But you couldn't make it for the day, mate.
What I really want to know, because I wasn't there, how did Levi react to the situation? It was a big smile on his face, I reckon.
Mate, I tell you what, it was one of those days where I was just so chuffed because of Levi's reaction, mate. Check this out. Here he is. This is him. Levi, good to meet you, brother. Mark, Graham, pleased to meet you. Now, when you brought it in here, she was a bit how you going, yeah?
It was a bit, yeah. We've done a bit to it, but there was a lot to go.
Well, look, the boys here at Adventure 4x4 and a couple of our mates in the industry have pretty much rebuilt this vehicle. She's roadworthy, head's been fixed. All the boys are here. We're going to bring the car out for you. Oh, sick.
Dude.
What do you reckon? Yes! The unicorn!
What do you reckon?
The unicorn lives! Looks sick, eh? It's yours, bro. Go and touch it. Get into it.
Finger marks.
Yeah, you will. You will need finger marks. That's the idea.
Have a look, mate. Oh, that's sick.
He's speechless.
Holy, you need side steps.
Yeah, you do.
Steps now, boy.
There's no way I'm getting in it then.
Yeah, there's no way you're getting in it, Mom.
What do you reckon?
Amazing.
We can beep that out. That's okay. That's totally fine. Shauno, how was Levi's reaction, mate? Now, I don't. The audio there, we had to cut it out a little bit because Levi did a involuntary swear word when he saw the car come out.
I would have done exactly the same, mate. And
Which was very cool.
I couldn't imagine a smile that big. That's just incredible. He obviously loves that vehicle and the work that you guys did, the whole industry. I mean, it's just amazing, mate. Amazing to see.
Yeah, what was really nice was that every single employee at Adventure 4x4 wasn't asked but wanted to play a role in the build of that car. So I actually went around and just said thanks to everyone individually. And I thought, crikey, how many people worked on this? And as it turned out, everyone, from the front desk staff to the mechanics out the back, everybody played a part in that vehicle. They all put a hand in it, which is, I think that's pretty cool, man.
That is amazing. It really is.
Hey, there's a couple of behind-the-scenes things that I'm just going to share with you quickly. One of which was Jocko provided the wheels and tyres for the vehicle, but of course, it was just his choice. He just chose what he thought looked good. As it turned out, they are the exact rims that Levi wanted. He would have probably gotten rid of any other rims and bought those. It just so happened that Jock fluked it and got the exact rims that Levi wanted, which was cool. But you know what was next? And this is something that I was so stoked with. Next was Levi hadn't driven that car. I think he'd only driven it once or twice since November. I don't think he'd set foot in it since November. Yeah. So I said to him, bro, that is your car. Let's get in it and go for a drive. And he was a bit nervous to start with. We had to source some P plates for him. He was a little bit nervous to start with, but he drove it like a boss. Have a look at this.
All right, well, I chuck these on, I guess.
Chuck them on.
Right.
Starts. So when did you last drive it? November?
Well, somewhere around there. When I got diagnosed, basically stopped.
How's she feel?
It was amazing.
You're a born natural, mate. She got a bit of kick to it too.
Well, yeah, 6-cylinder.
In a little vehicle too.
Yeah, it's sick.
I'm stoked for you. The mighty unicorn, mate. We've done it. We've done it. And I reckon just get out and give her a thrashing. That'd be my advice, man.
Thrashing? I don't know about thrashing. I'll take care of it.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that, but yeah, you'll take care of it, right? Cheers, man.
No
stoked, you're stoked.
Thank you. Before it looks good, in my opinion.
Yep.
Now,
It's just got that stance that Jeep should have.
Yep.
Looks amazing.
Funny thing is now his brother's got a winch, he's got a winch, I don't have a winch. And they said,
Oh, perfect. There you go.
that's what they said. I said, well, I don't need one, I got an instant. And they go, well, we'll pull you out.
Yep. I like it. The banter is strong with this family. I like it.
100%.
Levi was just stoked at the rims you chose.
They're pretty good. Pretty good.
Hey, mate, glad you like them.
Anyway, we're going to let you get back to you doing your hair tonight. Is that what you're doing?
I am, mate. I am actually going to
Yeah,
go
me
to
too.
Well, Shauno, as you can see, mate, that fella had the time of his life in there. He drove it home as well. It's funny because
that's
his
great.
old man was actually suggesting, his old man Mark, he said toward the end of the afternoon, he was like, oh, Levi, you'd be getting a bit knackered by now. It's been a big day, throw us the keys. I'll drive her home. And Levi was like, no way. Get in the passenger seat. No, sirree. He actually drove it home with him. But, mate, I mentioned that he calls the car the Unicorn. He's got a little dash thing in there, and he's probably going to try and get some plates that say Unicorn or something similar.
Oh, that's cool.
They're now looking for another unicorn, mate. Levi's illness is actually pretty difficult to treat, and he needs to get a stem cell transplant that's going to match up with his DNA. There's a few bits and pieces going on there, mate, and the search is ongoing. It's not just in WA. They're literally searching worldwide for a donor. So once again, mate, Levi is on the hunt for another unicorn. He's going to find it. I know he will, because he ain't going to rest until he does. So that's why this whole unicorn theme has kind of been going across it. He's really looking for another stem cell donor so that he can get this transplant and get back out on the tracks,
DNA.
mate.
Exactly right. And
exactly.
I guess the big question that everyone watching this has right now is, how can I help? Now, normally we'd try and look for some donations and that sort of jazz. Now, I guess the only thing you can possibly donate at this stage is maybe an aircon system for a TJ. But that aside, if you really want to help, becoming a donor is what it's all about. And if we can find, somebody to become a donor for Levi, I mean, it could just well save his life. So we're going to put some links down below where you guys can click on that and find out a bit more about becoming a donor. And hopefully between us in the four-wheel drive community, we can do something very special and help a mate out.
Couldn't agree more, man. Now, I'm a pretty manly bloke, mate. You know that for a fact. However, I'm going to share this with the world right now. I am petrified of needles. I don't know why. You're not, are you? They don't bother you at all.
No, it don't bother me at all, mate. But I've stepped on too many rusty nails in my life to worry about that. But
I don't know what it is. I've just got this illogical fear of needles. But I am going to sign up and see if I can become a donor, which means I've got to go and have a blood test done and a few bits and pieces just to see if I can.
Done.
Now, folks, trust me when I say
I'm doing the same.
You're going to do it?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well,
I'll do the same.
If an absolute pussy like me can go and get a blood test done in order to help out Levi, every single one of you guys can. So, let's see what we can do. Let's try and get the biggest stem cell donation in the world's history going in Australia, because I reckon that'd be pretty sick.
Well, mate, if there's a community to do it, it's the four-wheel drive community. There's so many people
100%.
always willing to help, mate. And, we need all the help we can right now, that's for sure.
Now, right toward the end of the day, mate, Levi came up to me and he said, I've got one last request. He was actually quite sheepish about it. He almost was embarrassed to ask. And I said, mate, what's going on? What do you want? He said,
can I have a ride in one of Sean's Toyotas?
No, well, I thought that might have been what he was going to say, because he might have had air conditioning. But he said, mate, when I get through the other end of this, can I go wheeling with you? And I said, mate, not only can you go wheeling with me, you can be the first person other than myself to drive the Y62 anywhere you want. And his eyes lit up. He said, we're going straight to a muddy track. And I had to I backtracked a bit there and I said, can we not go to a muddy track? I don't like mud. Can we go to a sand dune or something? He said, no, we're doing a muddy track. So keep an eye out. Yep.
Well, mate, I'll be flying over for that one. You got a few spare four-wheel drives over there. I'll drive the GU or Shorty or something like that. So, and that'd be great. That'd be a really cool trip.
It would be. So that was my day out with Levi, mate. It was a huge day. And big thanks to Levi and the family for coming down. It was a stinking hot day. And to everyone at Adventure 4x4, what can I say? We made dreams come true that day. It was really cool, man. Now, mate, can we skip out of WA and out of Queensland for just a second and go and see our lanky, really bad bearded friend Jocko for the deal of the month?
Hey guys, right now Oricom have an awesome deal on a UHF 360 paired with a black 6.5 dBi antenna. Now normally that whole setup will cost you around $428, but right now you can get it with free shipping anywhere in Australia for just $269. So you're saving around $159, a massive saving on an awesome UHF. I use this in the Pony. I've been using it for a very long time, and the reason I like it so much is all the controls are on the handpiece, so it's super easy to change channels and change volume. Just like that, nice and quick, and it tucks the transceiver out of the way. You get a nice long cable to the transceiver as well, which means you can mount it pretty much anywhere you want in your vehicle. Perfect if you've got an older rig like the Pony or a modern vehicle where you want to keep your dash nice and neat. Pairing that with a 6.5 dBi antenna is a really good all-rounder as well for open areas and hilly terrain as well. So if you want to get a brand new UHF and antenna for an unreal price right now, make sure you jump on it quick at oricom.com.au and don't miss out.
Well, one of the biggest questions I think we get asked on a regular basis, and I mean like a daily basis, is how do we come along on a trip with you guys? Because you guys seem to have a lot of fun when you go wheeling, and we do, there's no doubt about that. And every now and again, we team up with Snatch Clothing, mate, don't we? And give away the opportunity to win a golden ticket. Now, a golden ticket allows you to come on a full expenses paid trip. You know, money can't buy a trip with us. And just recently, we ran one, and there was, of course, one lucky winner, mate. So I want to announce that one if I can, Graham.
Go for it, mate. Hang on. I'm going to do a drum roll.
Do the big drum roll. This is it.
That was a crappy drum roll.
Yep. Well, the person who is coming along on a trip is a bloke called Kane, mate. Now, Kane drives a TJ Wrangler. You know, if judging by the bloke's beard, he's ready and willing for any forward drive trip, mate. He's and get this right. He's actually featured before on our show on Beers in the Shed before, under the fail section. That's right. He parked his TJ on its side, mate, and look, it seems like he the lucky winner, mate, of the trip. So he's going to win a trip with us, mate, and we'll probably take him down the high country, I think.
Let's hope he doesn't replicate the fails, mate. I don't want him in my vehicle if that's his if that's the way he does things.
That's the way he drives. Holy heck. So I guess the big question for everyone else, and congratulations, Kane. I can't wait to have a couple of Captain Frothies with you, mate. But the big question for everyone else is how do I be like Kane and win a trip? Well, make sure you're following Snatch Clothing. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook and sign up for their newsletter, because that way you're staying in touch. You're going to be first to know about any competitions like that, and you can win a once-in-a-lifetime trip just like Kane. Oh, Graham, I'm not sure if you can see behind me, mate, but there is a shiny new 80 series up there, and there's a bit of bar work. It's all been redone, the flares. You can see I've had the guys over from U-Pole and Raptor, mate, and that vehicle is looking $1 million. We've done all the bar work on Sooty. We've kept the same bar work and just Raptor coated it, and it looks brand new again. It looks absolutely unreal.
Raptor it's a miracle. It's like, Raptor is like lockers in a four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
You push lockers and magic happens. You spray Raptor, magic happens.
You do.
Because that,
You do,
I tell you
mate.
what, that's just an old 80 series, pardon me, but gee whiz, it looks $1 million, mate.
It does look $1 million. You just see the bar work, and you know how hard that's been treated. It looks brand new and all ready to bolt on. But it got me thinking, mate, that we've got a couple of these Raptor kits that the guys at U-Pole are keen to give away, including some of these aerosols, which work an absolute treat. If you know, great for touching things up, doing bar work, things like that. And we're just ready to give away 3 sets of Raptor kits, mate. So what I want to do is just put it out there to the audience. Anybody who needs some Raptor, this is your chance. Let us know in the comments how you'd like to use some Raptor, or why you need it, and we'll go through, choose the best 3. You'll win a Raptor kit. That includes some of these awesome aerosols. These aren't like the cheap aerosols that you get. This is proper Raptor, so it's 2-pack paint. It's got a hardener in the bottom as well. As soon as you activate that, this stuff works an absolute treat. It's as good as the stuff in the bottles, and it's really convenient to spray. So we'll make sure we'll get a couple of those kits together from the legends over at Raptor, mate. And well, just let us know in the comments why you need Raptor, and we'll go through and pick 3, really hell up 2 fingers, 3 lucky winners. So, mate, that'll be a good one. Normally, Graham, this is the time of the show when we get into one of our favourite sections. It's the fails, the forward ride 24/7 fails. Now, actually, you know what? This is actually a forward ride 24/7 fail. I want to talk about, look, I mean this in the nicest possible way. Jocko did a show recently. He wheeled some tough tracks. And I've got to say, that was a cracking show, mate. He went and led really that trip and drove some incredible stuff. Winching into the night, that stuff that you and I live for, mate. And there was just one section of that show that I want to just pick up on for a second, and it falls.
I know where you're going with this.
Jocko tried his hand at cooking. Now, obviously, very tongue-in-cheek, having a bit of a laugh, and I just want to show everyone this clip in case they don't remember it.
Thought it'd be time to cook the boys up a hearty meal. Now, I've seen Sean do this a bunch of times, so I reckon I could give it a go. He left me a few instructions. He said the first thing you need to do is this: crack a beer. Done. Okay. So what I'm gonna cook tonight is a bit of a hearty, warm meal to warm the boys up after a hard day on the tracks. They're all wet and cold and sitting over by the fire. So it's pretty simple. First things first, a potato. Straight in the pot. One pot wonder, as Sean likes to say. Next up, I've got a bunch of carrots here and a mandarin. In. Next over here, secret ingredient. I found this in the back of the camera car. It's just an old pack of cereal that the producer wanted to get rid of. About a teaspoon of this, I reckon. Cool.
You can see straight from the beginning, mate, the bloke doesn't cook at home. Let's just get that out on the table to start with.
This is the thing. I think Jocko's version of cooking is to get home and ask Mum what's for dinner, and it shows. It shows right here. The poor fellas that were going away with him. I mean, it would have been KFC one night, Macca's the next night, and if they were lucky, there might have been a pack of Doritos on the third night and a couple of Chocky Milks. Sorry,
I think
that's
you
how
just
that would have gone down.
You just nailed his menu, mate, 100%. But I mean, I like what he's done there. That's comedy gold. He's done that really well. To be fair,
very good.
I had no idea what was going to come out of that pot.
Last ingredient. Now this is a secret ingredient. This recipe's been passed down, it's quite important to me, and this one really helps bind it all together. Egg. Done.
I thought it was going to be a stew. I had no idea.
I knew he was having a bit of a joke, and I just wanted to see where it went. And I've got to say, he's absolutely nailed it. And Jocko, it's good to see you have been paying attention on those shows, mate, where you've been watching. Brave and I cook up a few master classes, mate, and you've taken a leaf out of our book. There's no doubt about that, mate.
But I think we might stick to the cooking, if that's all right, Shauno.
I think so, mate.
I get pretty hungry out there, and I'm not relying on Jocko.
I reckon it's time, mate. We jump into your shed. You've seen enough from our shed. Now it's time to jump into your shed. Let's have a look at some fails, some rigs, and just a few things that are going on, mate.
Mate, we are getting submissions across the board these days from multiple platforms. It's taken a fair bit for me to keep up with the whole thing, mate. I'm a bit of a, I went to school, I had to use chalk on a chalkboard. Now we're getting things in across Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So there's so many different ways to keep in touch with us. And of course, if you do get a... it is incredible. If you do get on the show, if you're on the Shed Show, there's a good chance you win a prize. We've got snatch vouchers this week, haven't we, mate?
We do, mate. We've got snatch vouchers to give away to some really cool submissions. You know what? TikTok has really exploded. I thought a TikTok was something you put in your mouth to freshen your breath up. But I tell you what, there's a lot of dance and a lot of... that's a tic-tac. Yeah, that's right. I always get those two things confused. Anyway, but TikTok is a huge platform. We've got a lot of followers on TikTok and a lot of people sending us stuff in from TikTok. So make sure you tag us in what you're up to on TikTok. We'd love to see it. But I reckon we should get right into, mate, the first one here, which is a bush mechanic fix. Now, you and I have seen this a million times out the tracks, mate, usually for a result of hitting, a water crossing or a mud puddle a bit too hard. The old radiator fan flexes, goes through the radiator, and it's usually the end of your forward driving, mate. You go home on a tilt tray after that.
A tilt tray. Not these boys. They tried a whole heap of different repairs first, the soldering, crimping, all the usual bits and pieces you do, the bending and the swishing together of the fins, but nothing seemed to work until, I don't know who came up with the idea, but they decided ingeniously to use some tyre repair plugs, which were clamped down by a block of wood cut to size from a tree, then held in place by the strongest zip ties they could find. They drove home, mate.
Genius.
Next day.
Genius.
Drove all the way home.
Ryan, you and your mates, mate, I mean, you'd fit well on our trips. That's the sort of stuff we do to get home. That's incredible. Absolutely. And it's moments like that where you're not taking no for an answer. That's what some of the best bush mechanic ideas come out of that. And you guys have absolutely nailed it, mate.
Mate, you've had a bit of rain over your way, I see on the news. Just a little.
Bit of rain. That's an understatement, mate. 1,200 mils at my place in a week. That's
next
more
level.
Rainfall than most, but that's more rainfall than most people get in 12 months, mate. And we got it in a week.
Way more than I get. So, mate, with all that rain that you've been having over there, some of our audience members, Facebook's groups, etc., have been spotting people with some very creative snorkel ideas, mate.
Look at that. The internet is flying with DIY snorkels at the moment. I don't know if it's a result of the rain or just people have got a bit too much time on their hands.
The one from Tassie makes me laugh. It looks like a vacuum cleaner hose, and it's called the Snozzle.
They haven't even gone to using proper PVC pipe with plumbing joints. They've just grabbed some flexi hose and that'll do, mate.
And then there's this bloke here in the Hilux. Are they just cardboard tubes? That's not going to work,
so, mate. I think so. They're probably someone from WA. It doesn't rain much over there.
No, you'd be right over here with those. Rightio, mate. Let's head overseas for a second. We've got Matthew here, who's been doing what they call laning. Laning basically just means full sending it through the mud. in the Lake District over there. He's got himself into all sorts of strife here. He also busted a steering hose in the bargain, got bogged, had to be towed out. It's snowing, it's cold, it's wet, and I bet all they could wait to do is get to the nearest pub for a pint, mate.
I bet they can't wait for that, mate. And look at that, they're driving those sort of cars, whatever they are. Is that an old Land Rover down there?
I think it's an old Landy, mate. Yeah, it is.
That's
It's a new
cool.
one and an old one, yeah.
I've got to be really honest with you. I've got a dirty little confession, Graham, and that is that I've got a few actually, but one I'll tell you right now is I've always wanted to rebuild a Series 2A Land Rover. I reckon there's something cool about those things.
And mate, have a go at this one here. This is Adrian. Now, when I first watched this, Shauno, I thought, stupidly, he's driving through there. How on earth is he driving through there? He's not, mate. Adrian is not driving through there. He's being
not at
pulled out
all.
probably by a tractor.
Not at all.
I'd say. No. Now, I'd like to know what series of events led to that occurrence. I reckon it could have begun with a hold my beer moment. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but
most good stories start off with that. Hold my beer, and then you end up on four-wheel drive 24/7 fails. It's a pretty simple series of events.
It's going to be a heck of a cleaning job. But, mate, this week's winner, I think, is very deserving. It goes to Hugh. Hugh was out for a bit of a casual wheel with his mate. Got a brand new dual cab there, and his mate's riding in a big old GU. He wheels the GU through a mud puddle, then calls his mate through, Hugh.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's a bit of a slip and a slop, and the two trucks have met. Now, Hugh, good news here, Hugh. You're the winner this week. You're the winner, mate. You get yourself a snatch voucher.
Yeah,
the bad news, mate, is you've learnt the hard way not to take on a GU. They're tough, mate. They're real tough.
Well, you know what? I reckon Hugh had this plan from the get-go, mate. He thought, you know what? If I can damage the old tub at the moment, I can go get myself a nice canopy and tray package. I reckon he was thinking a bit outside the square there. And it's a fail. You've not just won yourself a snatch voucher, but probably the chance to go sort yourself out with a new canopy and tray package. I bet the missus is going to be stoked with that one, mate. But anyway, he's got himself a $100 gift voucher anyway from Snatch Clothing, so deck yourself out with something nice there, mate. And remember that the best way to get in touch with us is via Facebook, Instagram, or of course, TikTok. And that's it. That's the best way. And obviously on YouTube as well. But if you use the hashtag #4WheelDrive 24/7 fails on Instagram, well, you too could win a prize.
Well, mate, with those fails on board, what do you reckon we have a look at some rigs? Rigs of the week.
When we get to see a few tidy rigs, mate.
Who doesn't?
Always gets me going. And check this one out here. We'll go overseas to the good old US of A, mate.
That is unique.
Now, you get a few over here, and they're usually rusted out in paddocks somewhere, and they're not very common. But I love seeing a cool international. Now, this one's an S160, a proper 4x4 version. It is epic, man. Could you imagine with a big block in something like that? And coming from Texas, he probably does have a big block in there.
Probably it's already in there, yeah, I'd say. That thing, imagine building that up to something epic. Oh, my goodness. That makes me feel things.
Super cool. Yeah, that would be super cool.
Righto, mate, let's jump across the ditch a little bit there and head into South Africa, where Carlos has got one of the neatest 76s you'll see anywhere. Look at it.
Oh,
that thing is
good
gorgeous.
Is that, mate?
I like the bar work at the front. It looks mean.
It does, and it's got some serious flex for an old 76 as well, mate. The thing looks like it gets out and about. One place I've always wanted to go, mate, is to South Africa and all the African continent, actually, and try and wheel up there. There's we get a lot of people from Africa, you know, message us and say, you've got to come over and experience some of the four-wheel driving we've got over there, because apparently it's absolute world-class, mate.
Off tap, apparently, yeah.
Speaking of 76s, mate, I want to show you this one, a local one from Southeast Queensland. Now, this is one of the nicest 76s I think I've ever seen.
Mate, the back end of that, have a look at the drawer system in there. Upright fridge, slide-out drawers, wood tops on them too.
It's got a really tidy back end on it, mate. And
it does.
Imagine at camp, you know, rolling out the old upright fridge, you've got the little slide-out table. Exactly right. I can just imagine some classical music playing when they get into camp, and it's just everything's set up really nicely. It's just really clean rig.
Well, if you can imagine classical music when they pull into camp, I reckon when Jess pulls into camp, it's just full-on doof. That truck looks to me like the lights go on and off in different colours. And no, I might be wrong, Jess. I might be wrong. It's an absolute tribute to you. She's actually building 2 patrols on the go here at the moment. She's got one of the tidiest looking utes. That's
what's better than a chick with a GQ is a chick with 2 GQs. And,
I can hear Jesse right now. He's just popped his head up. Wherever he is, he's at work, he's just popped his head up like a gopher.
He'll be hitting Jess up to probably try and buy parts off her, no doubt.
But they are neat. Look at that. That ute I tell you what, I would own that. That is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely.
So, Jess is our winner, mate.
Jess, you've got yourself a gift voucher from Snatch Clothing. Well done. And I tell you what, I wonder if you're worried about fuel prices with 2 GQs. Probably.
No, mate, they just sip the fuel. They just sip it. They're like refined diners, mate. They just sip it. They can sit on a beer all night.
No, they're not, because every time a GQ drives past any crowd, it's got to be on limiter. I've never seen a GQ not on limiter because something about that TD42, mate, they just love it. Well, congratulations, Jess. And, mate, look, I'm getting dangerously empty. I don't know about you. It's probably about time we wrap this up, mate.
I think so, mate.
And I just want to let you know, I guess, give you a little hint of what's coming up. Now, recently you would have seen, and if you haven't seen it, I really suggest you watch it. It's Sooty's, well, final moments. We'll start stripping her down to build Sooty Mark II. And I did allude in that show that you'll get to see Sooty's last adventure, which will be coming soon to YouTube. Now, that is dangerously close, mate, where we get to take Sooty out into the bush. Now, of course, in full four-wheel drive 24/7 style, we had a few issues with the vehicle before we even took it. We nearly didn't even make the trip because it was blowing all its coolant straight out the radiator. It wasn't healthy, so we thought, what should we do? Maybe we should just take it real easy on old Soot. We said, no, bugger that. Let's take it 2,500 K round trip down to New South Wales, drive some of the toughest tracks in Yowal, and then up through Bulahdelah on the mid-north coast. So
beautiful country.
Mate, it did really well, and I want you guys to watch this one because it is, well, it's sad and it's cool at the same time. The fact that this vehicle made it through that trip and drove all the way back down to my shed where it's parked up is nothing short of a miracle, and it's a real tribute to Sooty. This is a vehicle that just does not stop. So yeah, do yourself a favour, look out for that one. It's an absolute cracker. I'm very proud of those couple of shows, mate.
I'm gutted I missed that one. It would have been fitting. I've been on just about every one of Sooty's trips, so it would have been really nice to have done that. But anyway, Sooty Mark II, I'm sure her and I will become, I'm calling it a girl, I'm just assuming, that we'll become very well acquainted in the years to follow.
It doesn't smell as much inside. It smells quite nice because everything's going on. That vehicle's all new or refurbished. I'm taking so many parts off this vehicle, though, off Soot, that are going into that other vehicle. It really is Sooty Mark II because there's everything. Even you'll notice, you know, the guys over the keen eye, where's the rear tailgate for a Sooty because it's just not on the vehicle because it's actually better condition on Sooty than the donor vehicle I've got, which I don't know how, Graham. I don't know how.
No, not the back.
Panel
No.
was better than the one that was on that clean 80 series there. But we use that panel. We're going to be using the dash. We're going to be using the steering column. We're going to be using the wiring loom, the engine, the box, transfer the seats, and just about every single aftermarket accessory on it.
If you could just get a better driver to get behind the wheel, I tell you what, she'd be an awesome rig, mate.
Absolutely sorted, mate. We'd be sorted.
Well, on that note, mate, I'm going to go and grab another brewski. And listen, I'll be seeing you. I see you in 3 days.
I can't wait, mate. Your shout.
Looking forward to it. My shout. Oh, yep, 100%. My shout for the first one, yours for the rest. Cheers, guys. I'll catch you in a few days.
See you later.